Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly show. We call it Three Broke Guys Handicapping. It's where we review one of the top racing cards from around the United States. We will select a four-way sequence from that track and attempt to come to a consensus on a pick four ticket. Thank you for joining us. Week number 21 of the 2018 racing season, and it's already time for leg two of the Triple Crown. Pimlico Racecourse in Baltimore, Maryland has a stakes-packed card. For Saturday, it's the Preakness Stakes, and the late pick four starts in race number 10. It ends in race number 13. All stakes in the pick four on Saturday. My name is Rich Sharp, and each week I'll be joined by my friends and racing analysts. He's our East Coast handicapper, and he's coming to us live from his home in Staten Island, New York. Ray Torado, did you go to the Preakness? Was it last year or was that the year before? Because I'm already starting to merge years here on Three Broke Guys.
Year before. I had to look at the hat because I thought it was last year, but it was actually the year before. Nyquist. We went to see Nyquist in the pouring rain, and he couldn't do it. So, yeah, last year I couldn't make it. Always Dreaming was there. So, well, this year I can't make it. So, let's see next year. Maybe plans sell change. I can make it next year and go down there for the day in Baltimore. Or for 2 days, actually. I'll go for Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, maybe I can arrange the business trip in there. We can get Mr. We'll get our next handicapper out there. We'll make it a Three Broke Guys
trip. Now you're talking, yeah.
Speaking of our next handicapper, he is our West Coast handicapper, and he is from his home in Temecula, California. Joe English. I know I've asked you this before because, let's face it, in the car ride, I've just about asked you everything about horse racing over the years. But have you ever been to the Preakness?
Yes. Actually, Ray and I went. What was that year? Summer Squall. Was that 90?
Yeah, 90. Yeah,
1990. Obviously, many moons ago. But yeah, we were in Baltimore. And if I go next year, I'm making sure I have a rain slicker or a poncho, hip boots for fishing. Because I'm not sure. I'm like, I don't know how much water that place can get, but it seems like we're not out of the woods with that yet. So I'm sure Richard will an update shortly.
Somebody needs to drain the swamp. All right. Last week was Belmont Park, and coming off our Derby hangover from the week before, well, we stayed true to our craft, and we popped a few aspirin and drank a big glass of tomato juice, and then we stepped up and we did hit our little Gotham pick four last week. It was a $64 investment, and I think it paid upwards of $170 for the Three Broke Guys. So nice job, guys.
Yeah.
All right, time for a quick weather update from Baltimore, Maryland, and there's a lot of water. It's really wet. So it said showers and thunderstorms. It's actually a high of 77 degrees, so it's not so bad as far as that's concerned. The winds are at 10 to 15 miles an hour, but the chance of rain is 100%. So bundle up, folks. There's going to be a lot of rain at Pimlico tomorrow. There are a total of 14 races, 5 stakes on tap for Saturday. For today, we are focused on the pick four, beginning in race number 10 and concluding in race number 13. Gentlemen, the gates are locked and loaded, the outriders are clear, and the starter is ready to pop the gate. It's pick four post time.
Let's go.
Can I fit an umbrella in the starting gate? Seriously, man.
Oh, yeah.
All right. The approximate post time is 4:05 p.m. Eastern Time. $2 million guaranteed in the pick four on Saturday. 6 furlongs on the main track. It's the Maryland Sprint Stakes, Grade 3. The purse is $150,000 for 3-year-olds and upward. 9 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 9, Long Haul Bay, trained by Chad Brown and ridden by Manny Franco, 2-1 on the Pimlico morning line. Pimlico officially opened in the fall of 1870 with the colt Preakness winning the first running of the Dinner Party Stakes. The track is also noted as the home of the match race in which Seabiscuit beat War Admiral in the second Pimlico Special on November 1st, 1938, before a crowd of 43,000. Excuse me. The Maryland Breeders' Cup Sprint Handicap was born in 1987, and its inaugural run was held at Laurel Park Racecourse at 7 furlongs. Since its second running, the race has been run on the Preakness Stakes undercard at 6 furlongs. The race has been run with several variations of name changes, beginning as the Maryland Budweiser Breeders' Cup Handicap. They did that from 87 to 95. From 96 to 2005, the race was called the Maryland Breeders' Cup Handicap. And in 2005 and 2006, it was called the Emirates Airline Maryland Breeders' Cup Sprint. Our first handicapper, well, he's called Ray Torado, and I'd just like to know, Ray, who do you like in the sprint race to get this started?
Well, yeah, with the expectation of lots of rain, I'm gonna assume trying to. I mean, this pick four could either chalk out a little bit or it could just blow up. And I'm gonna have a few long shots in my sequence, so I'm gonna take a chance here. We know who's at the end, so uh, I'm looking for speed here. I'm looking for number 4, Lewisfield. He could be the fastest of the speed. He's coming off a layoff. He got good speed from Force 4. Boca Chica loves to ride sprints, 28%. And he's got the high figure of 101 from local track of law, so they're switching over to Pimlico. So, they're both pretty similar for Maryland track. And he's 5 for 7 with a second and a third. So he's 7 for 7 in the money. He's got a good record. He's always in the race. 4 for 5 at the distance. And, Ronco Boca Chica, let me tell you, 61 starts. They're a good team. And they click on 41%. So they know each other well, and they, put horses in the positions, in the conditions to win. So 7-2 is a good price for me. He'll be my top choice. I do have a long shot here, number 2, Heartwood. Stepping up from a strong optional claiming race where you saw McCracken, Dazzling Gem, cutting back to preferred distance of 6 furlongs. I like to see that. Putting him where he probably belongs. 3 for 4 at the distance, and Giroux is also 27% on sprints. He could be a stalker. He could work out a trip from post 2, and he might be, coming down the stretch, splashing away. I'm looking at, for a price here because we got some slim chalks at the end of our pick 4, possibly. We got number 9. You can't leave him out. Chad Brown, Manuel Franco. He's 3 for 4 lifetime. He's a young horse, slightly raced. But he's got a high figure also, 101. And, he's the winner of the Bayshore, the greatest stake. In the Willie Stevens, just, got not a good trip there, a little wide there, and he faced some good horses. And this is 3 for 4, like I said. And, he's going to be, probably a good position. And, he'll probably be a fighter favorite. But we got to use him anyway, so I'll include that. So I'll go with the 4, the 2, and the 9. Joe?
Well, it's funny, Ray. We're on 2 of the same horses, 2 of the 3. It's funny. I was scouring the internet trying to figure out, find out results, and I saw a lot of people saying, well, it went from speed winning to closers winning to speed winning to closers winning. So I'm guessing that at least in that case, track is playing fair. Mm-hmm. But what I do see plenty of early speed in this race. The 3 Red Dragon Tattoo is a goer. Lewisfield, the horse you mentioned earlier, is going. Switzerland is also going. And I would, and obviously, I'm not sure if it's Lackey or Lakey, is also probably more likely to be forwardly placed. So I, like you, I'm expecting somebody to come from off the pace. Long Haul Bay will get first run, and I do like the fact that Manny Franco comes aboard, figuring that he probably is giving up some mounts at Belmont on Saturday in order to ride this horse for Chad Brown. So I'm going to include him. He would be my second choice. My top choice though was Heartwood, and it looks like I'm not the only one in this situation. And again, I love to use Formulator, and Formulator unearthed the stat for me when it comes to James Chapman, who doesn't run a lot of horses. And if I recall, used to train out here in Southern California. But over the past 5 years, when he's brought a horse back in less than 21 days, and that's exactly what he's doing with Heartwood today, 33% with a 10.51 ROI. And if you look back at that April 15th start, that's exactly what happened 2 starts back. He started, first off the layoff at Keeneland, did not run well in the Commonwealth, but then wheeled right back 5 days later, dropping in class, and boom, and he hit it 14-1 for some guy named Florian Giroux, who may actually even be aboard today. This looks like the exact same scenario. He's even going to catch a sloppy track, which is also exactly what he got 2 starts back at Keeneland. So if there's going to be somebody who's coming from way out of it, This is the horse I like to do that. Obviously, Hartwood can do it. He's done it before, and the results from today's races tell me that closers can win just as easily as speed horses would win. Like I said, Long Haul Bay is my second choice. The other horse I would use is the 5 Switzerland, and this is sort of a light bulb angle. That obviously this once this horse broke his maiden, I mean, it's funny when you look at it, you're like, well, the horse broke his maiden on February 16th, and he was actually trained by Chad Brown, and he took that long to break his maiden. Wow, that seems pretty odd, doesn't it? But then he went from Chad Brown to Steve Asmussen, obviously no slouch either, at Oakland Park, and he just happened to win, and the non-winners of 1 and the non-winners of 2 in consecutive starts. And generally you would say, well, how does, unless somebody goes from Chad Brown to somebody like Steve Asmussen, there's no way the horse would actually get better going from Brown to Asmussen. But maybe that's the case, and maybe it's just a situation where the horse got a win, got some confidence, and Ricardo Santana is going to stay. He's drawn outside. I'm not worried about being one of the outermost speeds. I'm concerned that there's a lot of speed in there. There may be 3 or 4 of them up there battling for the lead, and so somebody could win, but it's less likely that'll happen. 4-prong speed duels generally, unless you're in Southern California or on an incredibly speed favoring track somewhere else, those horses don't tend to last that long, which is why he's my third pick. His form he's obviously never been better. And if you're going to try a stakes race now, he's undefeated this year. This would be a perfect spot to step into. Like I said, I don't like the fact that there's so much other speed in the race. So he's my third pick. So it's 2 Hartwood over 9 Long Haul Bay and the 5 Switzerland for me in the Maryland Sprint Stakes at Pimlico on Saturday. Rich?
Yeah, and essentially, I don't have anything differently because I went 4 deep here in the first race. Ray already alluded to my strategy coming up a little bit later, and so I've got 4 horses that actually consist of the 4 that you guys have already covered. So I went back to the back page just to double check this. It does play a little bit speed bias, 64%, but really you almost had to throw this back page out today like that because these stats don't include bog. With all the water on it and things like that. So the more that I tried to handicap the back page first, the more I just had to rely on. Let's go back and take a look up here. I ended up with my check mark on the 2. Believe it or not, knowing how we all handicapped here, I thought I would take a crack at the 15-1 long shot just to make sure that I got him into the final selections here. He is 3 for 4 at the distance. So at 6 furlongs, he's 3 for 4 at this distance, and he's 1 for 2 at the off track. And Joe caught it already, and he brought it up to you guys. It wasn't that long ago that he hit the off track. In fact, it was on this guy's birthday right here. So it was April 15th. At Keeneland, no less, and you heard us last week all fawning over Keeneland and how tough those races are. There's an optional claimer for non-winners of a certain amount or a claiming price of $100,000. So that's a very tough race. And the next one just had a horse that happened to be on the Derby Trail last year, McCracken, winning it. So that was a very difficult race at Churchill Downs just a couple of weeks ago, before Joe gave you that great statistic about James Chapman bringing back horses like this. I'm a big Florent Giroux fan. If you look back at the horse's history, back a little ways in October of 2017, won at Thistletown Downs, then won at, I believe we have agreed, that's Mahone Valley racetrack, and then stepped it up and went all the way across the country over here to the Malibu and didn't disgrace himself. I mean, was up there at least on the pace at the second call, and then went back and then quite possibly doesn't like the artificial stuff over at Turfway Park in Kentucky, and then came back again with the layoff race in the Commonwealth, and then 2 solid performances since then. So I put my check mark on Hartwood. I also like the strategy. I thought there was quite a bit of speed, and with the track in all likelihood being sealed tomorrow, I figured the speed's going to be playing heavily. So I went 2, 9. And then I used both the speed horses that you guys have talked about before. So I've got the 4 and the 5 here. So 2, 9, 4, 5 for me. Again, Joe, you've got 2, 9, 5, and Ray, you've got 4, 2, 9. And I'll go ahead and come back, and I'll bring my guest. He's normally on the turf. That's why I didn't break him out a little bit earlier and things like that. But there's Mr. Chad Brown, and
hello, Chad.
He's got his favorite Long Haul Bay in that race there that we just covered. So. All right, time to move along for us, and we are on to race number 11. This is 5 furlongs on the turf. Go ahead and move Chad out of the way for us there. It's the Very One Stakes. The Very One Stakes. The purse is $100,000 for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward. 14 starters, and the morning line favorite is in post number 7. Girl Knows Best, trained by Eddie Keneally and ridden by Javier Castellano, 3-1 on the Pimlico morning line. It was named in honor of the Very One of the best racing mares in training during the late 1970s and early 1980s. Purchased out of the 1977 2-year-old in training sale at Timonium for $22,000, she became a millionaire, racing 71 times with a record of 22 wins, 12 second-place finishes, and 18 third-place finishes, and earning $1 million in the process. Okay, Joe, is there any doubt as to why they called her the Very One? She raced 71 times, for God's sakes. As we like to say on this show, they just don't make them like they used to anymore. Who do you like in the Very One Stakes, my friend?
They don't make them like they used to, and I'm going to make a prediction. You look at the 8 horses in the Preakness tomorrow. I'm going to make a prediction that the combination of the 8, they may not get to 71 starts in their career. How's that?
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. I'll go with that.
And that's, you're talking 8 horses. Obviously, late 70s, early 80s. We're talking 35 years ago, and that's generations, obviously. I like the favorite here, unfortunately, and you're going to hear me saying a lot of that on this show. The horse is pure speed, and the one thing I don't know, and maybe somebody can enlighten me out there, how the turf played today. What I heard was that either you got a hold of it or you didn't. Either you liked it or you didn't. I mean, I even heard somebody calling it unfair to making horses run over this surface because there's just no way anybody knows who's going to be able to get hold of it or not. Anyway, I'm going to take Girl Knows Best. Keneally, over the last year, he's good overall, 21%, and his ROI is 196, which is pretty close to, at least breaking even. But with second-time layoff horses on the turf, he's 5 for 14, 36% and his ROI is 694. Again, if the horse can grab a hold of the track, and obviously the horse did it on a yielding course last time at Keeneland. If she does, she could be, this race could be over in the first furlong. Again, a lot depends on what, if this horse breaks, if anybody breaks, what the turf course is going to play like. This is kind of Russian roulette almost. At least for me, if you're gambling on a card like this, because unless you can figure it out beforehand, and I wouldn't be, honestly, if I was betting it, I wouldn't really be taking short prices if I could avoid it. But in this case, I just think she's the best horse. But I do have a long shot. It's not really a long shot, who I also like, another, based on another statistic, and that's the 13, Just Talking. And I believe, I don't have the PPs in front of me. I believe the trainer is I want to say Jason Service, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, it's the 12. I'm sorry, not the 13.
Yeah,
Okay, Jason Service. Again, I'm going to go back to formulator statistics. Overall, over last year, this is just overall, 28%, 2.03 ROI. So basically, if you're just betting his horses blind, you're ahead of the game. But on turf, over the past year, at distances between 4 and 6 furlongs, 41%, 2.89 ROI. And horses that won their last out in turf races over 4 to 6 furlongs, 44%, 2.99 ROI. And actually, it's funny, he's done it with 4 different horses, and 5 of them, 5 different races, he's had Irad Ortiz as the rider. So, with those statistics and those chances, I'm assuming he's going to sit off the pace. She's going to sit off the pace a little bit today. Because basically, I think behind Girl Knows Best, everybody's going to be sitting off the pace. And maybe, again, it's Russian roulette. I don't know if she's going to be able to handle the ground. Obviously, she ran over a good track at Monmouth last year and didn't seem to have a problem with it. She was the 8-5 favorite that day. it's tough to go against those statistics, and it's tough to go against any Jason Service horse short on the turf with Irad Ortiz in the irons. So basically, again, I'm going to try and limit my exposure in this pick four. If I was going to do it, I would probably play my own personal pick four a few times. So I would just go 7 and 12. Girl knows best, or girls know best, excuse me, and just talking in race 11, right?
Yeah, well, we probably have to kind of assume that the race will stay on the turf. It would be a shame if they took it off the turf. It would create a big mess, and you won't get 14 starts at all. You'll get scratches everywhere. So assume probably a soft turf, and yeah, you're right. I like the 7. Girls was best, high speed there. She's 8 for 14. She ran at Keeneland. It's a tough meet there, and she blew out that allowance field. So she has a bullet work sense. So she's in good form. Castellano, A. Keneally, they don't run together that much, but they've been these are two good jockeys and a trainer, and she has a high figure there, and coming off the layoff, you could possibly sense a bounce from that race, but I don't think so. She's in good form. She's working out well, and she's a well-deserved favorite. This could be a single for some of us. But I'm gonna go 3 deep just to try and pop a horse here and get a good price. I do like number 8 right next to her, Booze. Booze. This is the Giancarlo Stanton horse of Yankee Stadium.
It's the Dodgers horse right now.
Not no more since they've been running, playing well, but she raced in France. There's a lot of soft conditions there, and she's probably used to all this, blog and mess that they're gonna run on. And she's fresh. She's off the layoff. She probably needs to improve her figures with Toledo. But this is the kind of race where it's like a kind of a ungraded stake, high level allowance. So she fits well here. She did run in the grade 1 in France. So, and then the Christie Cat, just had a decent trip. Decent trip. Belmont at that time, you could get some rock solid, firm courses, and she just probably didn't handle it too well. She went at Monmouth. That was just a suicide pace there, as you can see. They came on pretty slow in 12, and she closed off of that. So, she might be having a good race there. 15-1, I'll take a chance. I also do like number 12, Just Talking. Like you, Joe, she can stay off the pace, take first run. This is our 3G, 3BG angle, moving up in class from the claimers. Jason Service. Tremendous percentages, like you mentioned before. Look at Wood Irad Ortiz, 53%, and they probably go out there, have a good lunch, just run well together, and and have a good day. But we could probably also revisit this race, tomorrow after the scratches, if there's any, and. But these are my choices for now. I'll go with the 7, 8, and 12, and let's see what develops tomorrow. How the condition of the courses, and So, Rich, so up to you.
Yeah, the 7 and the 12, they're familiar with each other. These are Gulfstream girls, coming up to Pimlico here. So as you can see there, just back in January, I remember because I was handicapping that day, so I remember this race. Just talking, she put a scare into Girl Knows Best. I mean, Girl Knows Best I think she was favored that day as well. As Joe said, she's just the 7's a very, very quick horse. But I thought this was worth a try. So I went ahead and put the check mark on my 12. I've got the 7 and the 12 both covered. And in addition, I went 3 deep just like Ray did. So I actually used the 11 as well. I like Smiling Causeway. That's Arnold Delacour, Daniel Centeno. And the layoff does not bother me here. Delacour does hit 28% with this type of layoff. He's very good with the shippers. He's bringing this one off of a couple of races that were at Belmont. You see there the horse run at Keeneland in a 12-horse race. and then came right back and won the Lightning sitting at Tampa. So I did like the line in Causeway. So I've got 7-11 and the 12. My check mark is on the 12 in this one, but I went 3 deep. I think Ray also went 3 deep. He's got 7. He's got the 12 and booze.
Booze.
Boo. Sit down, you bum.
They're not booing them over there. I tell you, playing well.
And Joe played this one a little bit closer to the vest. He's just got 2 deep. He went 7 and 12. And I'll go ahead and come on back. There you go. I'll bring another friend for us here.
Oh ho ho. Who that?
All righty. Next up is race number 12, and this one's going 1 mile and a 16th on the main track. It is the LARC Sir Barton Stakes. The purse is $100,000 for 3-year-olds. 11 starters, and your morning line favorite at 8-5 is in post number 8. It's Axeman, trained by Bob Baffert and ridden by Mike Smith. The race is named for the U.S. Racing Hall of Fame colt Sir Barton, who was the first U.S. Triple Crown champion. The 8.5 furlong ungraded stakes was renamed from 2007 to 2014 for the 2006 Kentucky Derby winner Barbaro. He suffered an injury in the 2006 Preakness stakes that ultimately cost him his life. Ray, I don't like to talk about that one because it makes me sad. So who is it that you like in the Sir Barton stakes? And of course, don't forget who's watching, Ray.
Hi, Bob. I'm going to try and beat you, Bob. These horses, mile 16, they just, either they haven't been prepped for the Triple Crown or they, just a little underdeveloped or not good enough for the Preakness. But, this is a good race. It's a good race for the undercard. It gives them a chance to run some of these horses. I'm going to go with a little shot here. 6-1 horse. Number 6, Dream Baby Dream. Didn't get the best trips of the last in the Arkansas Derby. Probably is a closer slow pace. And it looks like this horse likes to make one big run. Contreras obviously was close to a slow pace. And, the horse just didn't like it. I mean, I think this horse could probably close a little better on a faster pace. But you see Santana, Asmussen, they ride well together, and 114 starts, 21%. And I'm willing to give this horse another chance at 8-1. He closed into the Sunline Derby into second, at a good price. And he also closed a little bit mild bid on the muddy track, so I'm willing to give him a chance. 6-8-1. I'm trying to. I'm like in one of those all or nothing moods. I mean, everybody's a lot of money's gonna be put on Axe and Axeman and heavy money, and it's a big pool, so you have a lot of tickets, and if I can survive this one, it could be a good payday. I do like number 9, Takedown, another one, 20-1. The sloppy track. What I like about this horse actually is that Florent Giroux broke his maiden, and I know it's a maiden 20,000 claim. I can understand that, but the way he rode his horse aggressively, the horse responded to him, and he's back aboard. So I'm willing to take that chance. On this day, blinkers are on. Lacey Godot, good luck to them. Gabby will be there, and just taking a chance here. He worked out in the slop, so not a bad workout. 5 furlongs. So at 20, this horse might probably be bet down a little bit, but I don't expect to be that the morning line. So I'll include this horse in my ticket. Axeman will get heavily bet. Now I'm going to my B line. You can have a few pletchers here. Number 2, Pony Up, Prince Lucky, Todd's entries. They're there at good prices. Axeman will get a lot of money, and these horses are going to drift up. So if you guys plan to pick 4, if you can get through this without Axeman, we're in good shape. Number 11, remember this horse tied already? We're being favored in Northern Spur. Lost to High North. I think he's more in line of what? 5-1. So I could pull out the Keno machine here. But I'm just going to go, basically for me, I'm going to go 2 deep, 6 and 9. And just hope I get through. If I have room, I'll include Axeman also. So number 8, Baffert. Try and get through it, but I'm leaning on the other 2 horses. Joe?
Obviously, you weren't paying attention to Rich to say, remember who's watching.
No. I
That's
see
gonna be
it, but,
happy.
you know,
Yeah, see,
it's horse racing.
and it's funny. I think this is kind of the Freaky Friday episode again of Three Broke Guys Handicapping. I'm generally the one who's looking for prices and trying to beat Baffert and Chad Brown and Todd Pletcher at every conceivable moment because I know they're generally going to be overbet based on the value that the horse actually is on that given day. In this case, I can't do it. I've got to go with Axeman, and it seems like he's faster than these. He drew better than these, but again, I digress, and I always go back to Formulator when especially if it's like I have to look and see if these things are actually real. And if you go back to if you look at the pedigree, because obviously the horse has never run on an off track, and I'm just scanning the PPs. The horse has never even worked on an off track. So you'd say, okay, well, how do you know? Well, Formulator can show me that. The Dam, Shameful, was actually second in a graded stake that is usually run on the Oaks Day undercard, the La Troyenne, in her only off-track try. And the Dam has had offspring that are 4 for 8 over off tracks, and 2 of them you might have heard of. One of them is Roman Threat, who was 2 for 3 on an off track with a top buyer speed figure of 95. The other is a horse that didn't run long ago, and I'm sure you guys probably both remember. You guys remember Indian Blessing, do you not?
Oh yeah.
Indian Blessing was 2 for 3 over an off track, and I want to say I think it was in the Prioress at Belmont where she ran a buyer speed figure on an off track of 110. Yes, that's right, for a filly, 110. So I'm going to take a guess that this horse is going to absolutely love the off track. He's the best horse going into the race. And I think Bob's going to have himself a nice little daily double if he wants to play it 1,000 or 2,000 times. Of course, he may not get more than like 9 to 5 on it. But hey, if he wants to play it a couple thousand times, who am I to stop him? Axeman's the top choice for me. I would probably single here. Again, because I think the horse is going to like the slop, and I think he's just the best horse going in. But I do want to mention a horse who I think underneath might be worth a look, and that's the 11 Prince. Actually, it's the 10 Prince Lucky. The horse is a stalker, but again, pedigree and looking back, Corinthian. Again, I'm not sure how long you guys' memory are. Ray probably more likely than Rich. Yeah. Corinthian won the Breeders' Cup at Monmouth, and he earned. Of course, I should rephrase. It was the Breeders' Cup mile at Monmouth, and again, that day was also running a quagmire. His buyer speed figure on that day. If you thought 110 was impressive, 119 in the slop at Monmouth that day. And again, this is another horse whose Dam has offspring who are 4 for 6 on off tracks. So another horse who's bred to be good on an off track, even though the horse, as you can see, 6 running lines, all on fast main tracks. Again, scanning the workouts, all the workouts are on fast main tracks. So you need some kind of pedigree analysis or something other to look at than to see who possibly could handle this. I think this horse could. And if I was going to play the race, I would probably play an 8-10 cold exacta, and I'd punch it a few times. So it's Axeman or nothing for me. And Prince Lucky would be my horse to use underneath. So the 8 over the 10 in the Sir Barton. Rich.
That's interesting. I kind of missed the first gelding as well in there for Prince Lucky.
Oh yeah.
I like the winning the first 3 out of 4, and then the Lecomte and the Sunland Derby maybe just a little bit too big to take down for him. Well, I was about to shy away from it at this point in time. I've been betting Axeman since Happy New Year, since he opened up on New Year's Day. He was my original Derby horse. He didn't quite get to the Kentucky Derby, and Joe has already talked about his Dam, Shameful. In this particular case, it's the Dam who's the superstar of the breeding side. So misremembered, just so on the top side, but the bottom very, very strong. I've got a Mike Smith bobblehead doll. He's going to be coming out in just a few minutes. But Bob and Mike, fantastic combination. And I think he is the best horse in the race. I wasn't so sure. I like hearing Joe's numbers about the off track, but knowing that he's a California horse going out to, again, a bog, I just wasn't positive. So I did back him up, but I backed him up too deep. Again, kind of falls on my betting strategy for later in the day. But I did like Pony Up with Todd Pletcher and John Velasquez here. The horse is just 1 for 7 so far, but did do some running there in the early part of the Holy Bull against the eventual winner Audible. If you've watched our show, you know that was my Derby horse. And the horse came out looking like he was intended to be somebody last July and October. And so I thought that maybe Pony Up might be worthy of a try. So I had him on my top line. And I also have the 11. So I did like Title Ready with Jose Ortiz and Steve Asmussen coming out of the Red Bull and the Northern. But prior to that, had won 2 of his last 3. And again, kind of like the combination there. I genuinely feel that Axeman, if, as Joe says, takes that off track, he's much better than these.
Yeah, definitely.
But I did decide to back it up here. So I went 8-2-11. Joe, I think you singled with the 8, but you got the 10 there on your second line. And then Ray, I think you just went too deep with the 6 and the 9. Your second line was the 2, 10, and the 11.
I mean, I would include a 7 Axeman also, like, we all do. So, that just, since you guys have them, I figure I'll include them, but, we got them anyway.
All right. I will come on back.
I'm just stretching the cord.
We're going to move along to the race we've all been waiting for, and I'll bring out my last special guest here. So now we got Mike, and we got Bob. And we are going 1 mile and a 16th on the main track. Excuse me. They're going 1 mile and 3/8 on the main track. This is race number 13. It is the Preakness Stakes. It's a grade 1, and the purse is $1.5 million for 3-year-olds only. 8 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 7. It's Justify, trained by Bob Baffert and ridden by Mike Smith. Right now, at least at this point in time, 1-2 on the Pimlico morning line. So 2 years before the Kentucky Derby was run for the first time, Pimlico introduced its new stakes race for 3-year-olds, the Preakness, during its first ever spring race meet in 1873. So former Maryland Governor Odin Bowie named the then 1.5-mile race in honor of the colt Preakness from Milton Holbrook Sanford Preakness Stables in Preakness, Wayne Township, New Jersey. And that was the horse who had won the dinner party stakes on the day Pimlico opened, October 25th, 1870. The new name was said to have come from the Native American name. I don't think I can say this correctly, but it's Preakness, and that's named for the area, which means quail woods. So after Preakness won the dinner party stakes, his jockey Billy Hayward untied a silk bag of gold coins, and that was hanging from a wire that stretched across the track from the judge's stand. This was the supposed way that the wire at the finish line was introduced and how the awarding of the purse money came to be. In reality, the term purse, meaning prize money, has been in use for well over a century, so much for that one. So, Joe, there you go. The wire, the purse. Who do you like as the winner?
I just want to give you guys a small morning lineup, not morning line update. I'm going to give you a small odds update in case you hadn't seen it. Justify was even money, and Tenfold is 2-1 second choice. If I remember right, Quip was the third choice at 7-2, and Good Magic was the fourth choice at 9-1. Be that as it may, no. Unfortunately, I am not kidding you. Go check Twitter. It's all check Twitter. Check Twin Spires. Check DRF. That's the latest information I got, and it was about 5 o'clock this afternoon. And again, be that as may, if and believe me, this is not going to happen. If Justify is even money, I am going to the window and I am betting with both hands. There is no chance in hell that stays even money. Of course, we said the fact that my boy Jack was 5-1 in the Derby, and we didn't think that was going to hold up, but it actually did. Anyway, just the performance last week, 2 weeks ago, was a tour de force. Bob didn't even need to sending Justify out for a workout in between. And basically, he's already been telling everybody, we'll see you in New York. That's pretty confident talk, and I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be. He won the Derby on an off track. He's only got to face 7 rivals this time, and I've even heard some talk about them sending Justify to the lead. And to be honest, since Quip drew inside, Quip's going to go to the lead, and I completely expect the trip to be exactly the same trip that he got 2 weeks ago in Louisville. And that I just think the trip will repeat itself. And, it's funny. I said the same thing last week about High Happy, and he went off at 9-5 and anchored our pick 4 last week. So I don't see any reason to change. Justify is the horse to beat. I have to, in good conscience, use Chad Brown. He pulled the upset with Cloud Computing last year over Always Dreaming. I don't think Always Dreaming and Justify are going to be used in the same sentence, other than the fact that they're Derby winners, at least going forward. It doesn't seem as if, obviously, Always Dreaming hasn't won a race since the Derby, and in this case, neither has Justify. But I think that changes tomorrow at about 3 o'clock Pacific and 6 Eastern time. But I will use Good Magic as a second possibility, just in case something were to happen. Unfortunately, Rich mentioned Barbaro in the Open, and obviously it's still a horse race and they still have to run. But somehow I think if they all run and they all finish, the exact is 7-5. But I will throw in another underneath horse, and I'll use Wayne Lucas's horse, Bravazzo. I think he had a sneaky good trip in the Derby. I think he won't have to obviously weave his way through 20 horses. He'll just have to get around 4 or 5. And if for some reason Good Magic doesn't run well, I could see using Bravazzo underneath Justify, maybe playing an exacta or maybe playing a try 7-8-5 with Good Magic third, or maybe even I go 7, even be a little bit more, try to create some more value by going 7-8 all in the try. If for whatever reason Good Magic doesn't run well, because I just, first of all, I can't see Justify being even money at post time, and the other thing is in order to create some value, you either have to have a multi-race sequence, or you have to find somebody who you think can run well underneath at a long number. So that would be Bravazzo for me. 7 and 5 would be my top choices to win the race, but I do like Bravazzo to run underneath in the Preakness. So Bob Baffert will have won 7 Preaknesses tomorrow if Justify gets the job done. Ray, what do you think?
Yeah, usually when a Derby horse kind of like I told you 2 weeks ago, I wanted to see what he would do in the Derby. I didn't have complete confidence in him. Justify. I went other ways with a few long shots, and usually I do stick to my guns and say, okay, he beat me. I'll try and beat him again. But this time I can't do that. I fully believe. I mean, he made a believe out of me. That race, he really ran well. He broke that 2-year-old. The ninth Apollo's gone. All that stuff. I thought he wasn't developed enough. Only racing this year. The only thing that could beat him, I just could be his schedule. It may not happen tomorrow. It probably won't happen tomorrow. It could happen in Belmont, with the schedule of his racing this year. But this is a good horse. He looks the part. He has foundation. He's, I see him gallop down on TV and workouts, and he's just getting bigger and stronger. And this is a real horse. I mean, we've seen horses last few years. We've seen Arrogate. We've seen all these horses, and this horse, he's the real deal.
American Pharaoh.
American Pharaoh, yeah, I was there to see him. You know, he looks powerful, and this horse, he's probably built to run like in the 70s and 80s when they used to run them every month and stuff, and give them 20 or 30 starts, which probably won't happen because the value
No, not a chance.
of the value of these these days, the breeding and everything. But he's built strong, and I'm gonna put him on top. I mean, he probably get the same pace, like you say. He's gonna sit behind Quip and be on the outside and move when he wants to, just galloping around there. Good Magic, give him a try. He'll give him a try again. I think unless Justify has a little bit of a relapse there. I think it's gonna be the same scenario. Um, I'm looking for Diamond King number 4 to run a decent race. We've been looking out for him. He was scratched one day. Remember, he was scratched, and he ran well in the Tessio. Never been on off track, but these elusive quality. Probably has some off track breed you can lay with that, and Joe. But Diamond King, give him a shot. He's been sprinting well, but gone mile 360. He won a Tessio, mile and eighth. So he may like the distance, just if anything happens to the top 2, I'll be looking for Diamond King anyway. So, but definitely Justify, Good Magic. Those two are the classiest horses, Breeders' Cup winner, Derby winner. They'll give it a fight. I'm looking to buy my general admission tickets before the race, so so that at least I can have me a ticket to go if I'm looking to go for the Triple Crown. So, Rich, what can I say? See you in New York.
Yeah, no,
I
I
see
would
you,
love.
Bob. I see you, Bob. There. I see you, Mike. I see everybody there. We'll have our
And about
show.
110,000 of your
And
closest friends.
110,000. So,
Yeah, no, I would love to. Then I was thinking about it, and
June 9.
yeah, just couldn't pull the trigger on my business trip for that week, and
Yeah.
so I honestly don't think anybody. The 7 is my single, so let's just be. I'll be straightforward about that. Justify is my single here. Baffert and Mike Smith. You saw them there at the opening. The horse is 4 for 4. I will tell you this: Joe and I were watching the Kentucky Derby on a flat screen TV in a small sports bar. We had no volume, and I couldn't see anything as far as the Kentucky Derby was concerned, other than really the fractions. We knew that it was Justify who was up there on the front, but we could just see the fractions that were on there. And be honest, when I saw that he was at 45 and change in the half mile, I was a little concerned. I thought, no, I don't think so. You don't see Kentucky Derby winners usually run off at that kind of a pace. The horse is exceptionally talented. It seems like he was a lot more talented than anybody that was in that field. Good Magic certainly ran his heart out, had every right to be second, and never looked like he was going to be anything better than second. And so if I had the money, if I hadn't gone as deep as I did in the first 3 legs, going 4 times 3 times 3, I would go ahead and fire up a second one here and put Good Magic in there. But for me, in this race, it's just going to be a single. I just went with the 7. Joe, you went with the 7 and the 5. Ray, I think you went with the 7 on your top line.
Yeah.
And then the 5 and the 4 underneath, it sounds like.
Yeah.
All right. I will go ahead and I will come back here for a moment, and we'll go ahead and put our group ticket here together. And I believe it's just Mr. Sharada's picks I need to put in, so hang on. You guys can watch as I do this. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I didn't set up because I was late.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, a tough week.
I just want to know something. Why? Wait a minute. I want to know, why is there no turf Triple Crown?
Oh, good call.
Yeah, right.
That's something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Why isn't there?
Turf
I mean,
Triple Crown.
when you think about it, I mean,
Yeah.
They'd have to make it like, because they have, what do they run? They run the, what's that one? The American Derby on Derby Day. And then, do they have a 3-year-old turf stake tomorrow? I would assume they do, but I'm not 100% sure. And I don't know that they run one on Belmont Day, but I'm kind of wondering why that never happened.
The Belmont Derby, is that running that
No,
weekend?
Belmont Derby.
Oh,
Last
July,
I remember was run on like July 4th.
Oh, July. Okay, yeah.
Because it's funny because Martin Panza, who was the guy who actually started the American Oaks at Hollywood Park, ran that race on July 4th, and now he's the racing secretary in New York. So it doesn't surprise me that they run the Belmont Derby on July 4th or in that neighborhood. But I mean, that would be fine if they wanted to do a third leg of a Triple Crown on turf.
Yeah.
Do the Belmont Derby, and then pick. You can use the American race at Churchill as the first leg, and you run something in June, and maybe do a Triple Crown that way.
Yeah, it'd be a good, interesting thing.
They do when you think about it. I guess you could also they kind of have one for older horses when you think about I guess it's now the Old Forester Turf Classic at Churchill, and then they run the Dixie tomorrow at Pimlico, which I'm sure Ray was disappointed that World Approval was not included in the Pick Four. And they run the Manhattan on the Belmont undercard, and I mean, I guess you can consider that some kind of older turf horse Triple Crown. But anyway, I'm just waxing as to why there wasn't.
They switched it, right? The Saban with the Dixie, right? Because last year we did the Dixie.
Yeah, usually they run. Usually, I think they try to run the Dixie in the Pick Four, but I think they might have been afraid, and I don't know why. They might have been afraid that World Approval might take too much money.
Yeah.
Low, but then they got Axeman.
Yeah,
so
yeah, sure.
I'm not sure what the rationale was. And to be honest, if I had World Approval, I wouldn't run them tomorrow. Not on that turf course. I think I'd wait for another day. But then again, that's just me.
Even money, man.
So am I right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I was not lying. I think the same guy who bet my boy Jack bet tenfold, and that's why he's 2-1 in the Preakness tomorrow. I mean, it's only like 500,000. It's not even. I mean, it's barely a blip on the radar. But still, I mean, the fact that justifies even money.
That's probably more Derby advance wages than Preakness advance wages.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Plus, considering how bad the track conditions were, my guess is, probably people are.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of that track tomorrow. Who knows? We'll see. I guess we'll see tomorrow.
All right. So here's our decision. We can stop it here. This is where all the consensus picks are. That's only a $16 pick 4, I believe. Gave us all 4 selections in that first leg, and then you got the consensus picks in leg 2, leg 3, and leg 4. I had actually good magic here in your leg, Joe. And then I left out a couple of. It looks like it was actually Ray. You and I had a couple of picks in leg 2 and in leg 3 that I left off. So we can go ahead and add those. We're at 16 right now.
Okay, so then we would end up being
especially leg 2. Leg 2 has been our
4
a lot of times.
This is booze.
I will. Okay, here's like you were saying, Rich. I think the decision is this. I guess there's 3 possibilities. One is we play a pick 4 where we include all the horses in the first 3 legs to justify. The second option is that we play the $16 ticket that Rich just had, including Good Magic, but only the consensus horses in the other 2 legs. The third possibility is we play both.
Yeah. Yeah, it's twice, yeah.
This is the all. Is 5, 1, 2, 3, 5 times 4 is 20.
20.
So that would be
4 is 80.
So if we took that and single to justify, that's 40.
40.
Yeah.
And then the other ticket was 16. So it's possible we could have it twice.
Twice, yeah.
And then in case for whatever reason, the consensus horses don't win, we're still covered. And so basically that would be 2 tickets and it would be a total of $56.
Sounds good. I like that. I like hitting pick 4s twice. It feels good.
I don't care if I hit it, as long as I hit it. As long as I hit it once, hitting it twice is great. Yeah, but as long as I hit it once, I don't really care about the twice.
No, this year's been working out. I tell you, I play one ticket and I play another ticket and live them both. I'm like, yeah, it's like it's awesome.
Right. So those of you who are playing along at the home game and kind of watching us here, that looks like there's going to be 2 tickets. There's going to be this one you're looking at right here. So the greens are the 3 Broke Guys consensus ticket that you heard us talking about at the opening of the show. So we've got 2, 4, 5, 9 with 7, 12 with 6, 8 with 7, 5, and we're going to play that, I guess, for $1, Joe. And that'll be a 60. Oh, no, 50 cents. No, 50 cents. And that'll be a $16 ticket.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then we are also going to go ahead and add. In leg 2, we'll have the 8 and the 11. And in leg 3, you're going to have the 2, 6, 8, 9, and 11. And then the final leg, we will just have Justify.
So that means, Rich, you need to put 2 pictures on social media.
Yeah,
because we will have 2 tickets. And that's a grand total of $56. So
$56.
So basically, if our smaller ticket hits, there's a good chance we'll hit it twice. Good magic being the only way we wouldn't hit it twice.
Mm-hmm.
But if for whatever reason Good Magic were to upset Justify, we'll still have a shot with the smaller ticket. And I guess we'll know what we need before the Preakness goes off. What time is the post for Preakness? Is it 3? Is it about 3 something?
Oh, and I don't put the post time on.
3:48.
There it is.
3:48.
Yeah.
Oh. And the first post for the race is 3:40. It's 3:48 Pacific.
Pacific, yeah.
Okay. So, oh my God. So it's 1:05 for the first leg and 3:48 for the last leg. Not quite as bad as Derby, but at least I'm not in the rain. All right, that looks good.
At least I'll get volume.
At home, yeah.
Yeah. Or wherever I choose.
Wherever you happen to be. Yeah.
Wherever I choose to hang my hat tomorrow. I have no idea where I'm going to be.
You know
that
what?
should be home.
You know what? Neither do I. I have
a UBA match and then I'm heading home for the Preakness.
Yeah, I don't really know what. I don't know what the plan is for. So, but at least we'll know we will have 2 tickets in. See, Rich has gone to the purple. There you go.
I've gone to the purple. Yeah. I found something new, you guys.
Yeah,
awesome purple. Now we know the green is 1 ticket. If we go 2 tickets, we go purple.
Mm-hmm.
Cool beans. There you go. Now you only have to do 1 picture.
There we go. We got back to 1 picture.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
All right. I like it. 2, 6, 8, 9, 11. All right. For you already, I will go ahead and come on back to everybody. And we will go ahead and wrap it up for the evening.
For those who watched our show last week, we did omit something in error. So we will say belatedly to our moms and our wives, Happy Mother's Day, ladies.
Yes.
Belatedly again. Sorry that we missed addressing you both in our show last week.
Mm-hmm.
Got a little excited, huh? All righty. For those of you watching, if you enjoyed the show, we're going to be back next week because, well, that's what the 3 Broke Guys do. We're going to get together and take a look at another exciting card. I don't know what that card is, though. We haven't actually taken or spoke about that one yet. So,
Ray, you had your hand up, Ray. What was that?
Yes.
What's up? What?
An early happy birthday to you, Joe English. Monday.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that.
Excuse me. Happy birthday, Joe.
Thank you, sir.
All right, gentlemen. That's all the time we have for tonight. It's always a pleasure to handicap with the two of you.
All the time.
It's fun. Let's bang it out twice tomorrow.
Let's hear it again. Yeah.
All right. For
That
Joe
bank
English
going again.
and Ray Torado and for Bob and for Chad and for Mike Smith, I'm Rich Sharp. Thank you for watching Three Broke Guys Handicapping. Good luck and good night.